hello everyone, and welcome to Video Malaysia's very first Instagram live series, a live with video. So whilst we wait for a couple more people to join our session, let me just quickly introduce our speaker today. Pinta is an executive director in our tax department, and she graduated from a degree in accounting and finance from the University of London, and subsequently she obtained her MBA in accounting and finance from the University of Malaya. Pinta is also a member of the Chartered Tax Institute of Malaysia, as well as a member of the Malaysian Institute of Accountants. Pinta is also a licensed tax agent under Section 153 of the Income Tax Act. So I think without further ado, let us bring Pinta on board. Hi, Pinta.
Hi, Xiaoling. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Pinta. We are really excited to have you, and thank you so much for joining us on our first Instagram live session today.
Me too.
So Pinta, I have just quickly give the audience a quick introduction of your profile just now, but I think I did not share on the professional experience part because I believe you would be sharing a little bit more during your sharing after this.
Sure.
Yeah, Pinta, so first and foremost, I think a lot of us wanted to find out more because when we released your individual poster on social media, there was a quote by Albert Einstein in the poster. And I think subsequently we did receive quite a few inquiries on, whether the quote was really something that Albert Einstein said, because I don't think many of us have heard of the quote before. So Pinta, maybe you want to share with us a little bit more on why, in your opinion, do you think that tax is actually an interesting field and actually indeed not difficult?
Okay. Yeah, it's not difficult for me because I already have over 17 years experience in doing tax. So let me share briefly on my working experience. After graduated, I started my career in tax in a small firm. Thereafter, I joined KPMG for 4 years and Deloitte for 2 years before joining BDO. Since then, I have been working here for 7 years. Why I choose tax as my career? This is a decision without hesitation because I like tax because of my family. My parents provide accounting services, including personal tax filing services. Hence, I have been exposed to the kind of environment since young.
Right. So, Pinta, you actually have 17 years of experience, and 17 years is really a substantial amount of time. So, throughout your experience for the past 17 years, maybe you can share with us a little bit more on what sort of exposure a fresh graduate or someone who is keen to embark on a career in tax. So what sort of exposure that they will get when they first join and throughout their progression as a tax professional?
Okay. As a tax consultant, general layman perception is that you know everything about tax. But in fact, it is kind of impossible for a tax profession to excel in all aspects of the tax. Maybe I can briefly introduce the taxes in Malaysia. So in Malaysia, there are two different kinds of taxes, which are direct and indirect tax. Direct tax is something that levied directly on the taxpayer wealth, like income tax, withholding tax, RBGT, while indirect tax are like GST, implemented previously, now already repealed. Now we have sales and service tax. Basically, for tax profession, we have three main functions, mainly compliance, consultancy, and tax dispute resolution. Maybe let me elaborate further on each. Tax compliance in a simple term means, just complete and file the income tax return on time based on the current tax regulation. So it is pretty routine, repetitive, and involves a lot of paperwork. While for tax consultancy is more on the problem solving side. When our client approach us, they will want to know what are the implications if they are going to implement something. On tax dispute resolutions, it's more on the resolving issue arising from tax audit and investigation.
Right. So Pinta, from what you have shared earlier, in BDO, we do have these expertise and services as well, right? So maybe for the benefit of our audience today, would you be able to share a little bit more on BDO tax divisions?
Yeah, here we have a tax compliance team, we have tax audit and investigation, TIFA, the team I'm in, transfer pricing, and also tax advisory. Since I'm in TIFA, maybe let me elaborate more on what we do in TIFA. Despite our forte is tax audit and investigation, but our team do handle tax compliance and transfer pricing, but it's more on the tax enforcement. Actually, a lot of people curious about our functions and involvement in TIFA. The scope of TIFA cover the client representations, liaising and negotiating with the IRB to reach the settlement. But of course, we also cover like health check. We go through the underlying document and see whether the income tax return is it have been filed in accordance with the supporting documents and also the tax law. So thereafter, we will highlight to the client that what are the potential tax exposure, and we will prepare them with a list of the potential questions so that they can get ready before the IRB come to conduct the audits.
Right. So, Pinta, since you have mentioned clients, I think one question that, a majority of us, especially for students, would want to know. So, as a tax professional, throughout your experience, your 17 years of experience, do you get the opportunity to cover a wide range of clients, or are you actually specifically focused on a particular industry?
Yes, we do able to cover quite a wide range of industry. Our clientele includes both individual and also corporates. Corporate client, we have manufacturing, trading, hoteler, retailer, plantation, construction, and also property developers.
Wow, so that is actually really a wide range of industries, right?
Yeah.
And I think personally, it is something that is really good because I think when you service clients from multiple industries, even though you are providing a similar service, but I think the approach that you take to when you manage different clients, it's different. And I think that is where you are able to exercise, different judgments and also polish different skills, correct?
Yes, yes, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So Pintal, we do know that you manage a big tax team. So in terms of that, would you be able to share a little bit more on how is your team's working culture like?
Okay, sure. As I have worked in other accounting firm, I could say that BDO working environment is very friendly. I could say that I feel very fortunate and grateful that I'm working here because I've been given a lot of opportunity to handle different type of services, and I have a good mentor, my boss, Chris. He has been providing guidance and support. I have learned so much from him, and I'm still learning. So in DIFA, we focus on providing one-stop solutions for our client because relationship matters. Like the BDO slogans, we believe that we can serve our client better through the ongoing engagement with them. That's how we build up the rapport with them.
Well, to be honest, Pinta, I cannot agree more on that because I think for me also the environment here is really supportive and collaborative. Let's just take like today, the Instagram live session when we first approached, our various speakers from, different business units. All of you almost immediately agreed to do this session with us. So I think that really shows how supportive you are to other colleagues as well. So that's really good to know. And I think it's also one question that a lot of students, as posed to us as recruiters in terms of the team culture as well as the firm culture. So I'm really glad that you covered that in your sharing earlier. So
Sure.
if you don't mind, can I just bring the question a little bit further? So you shared on your team's culture, right? How you believe in providing a supportive environment and also providing opportunities for your team members to grow. So from that perspective, and I think this is also a frequently asked questions by students and also graduates to us, is there a specific candidate that you look at when you want to bring someone into your team? Like, does that person have to have come from a specific degree or background, or maybe a person who has, specific personalities or character, or even does this person have to undertake, certain professional papers before they can join your team? So maybe you can share a little bit more on that.
Okay, yeah, for me, I think good attitude is everything lah. So long as you have good attitude, eager to learn, and hunger for knowledge, despite that you don't have the relevant education background, you're still encouraged to join us. Nevertheless, I do encourage those without the accounting background to consider to take up the professional paper for their own good and career progressions. Because for us as the tax professionals, you need to have the tax agent license in order to practice. So it is also a requirement if you want to become a partner here. In addition, I will say that we provide a lot of trainings. The internal training covers all the way from the basic tax training to advanced tax training as well as audit training. So we always ensure that there's a proper guidance that given to our juniors. In addition, we have Toastmaster Club. I think Selling will know better than me. And also that's how I know Selling through one of the workshops, the persuasive speaking workshops. Yeah.
My goodness, that was like almost more than 2 years ago, right, Pinta, where we first met
Yeah,
during the
yeah, correct. Yeah.
To be honest,
Somehow
Pinta,
able to say, yeah.
that's great. That's why relationships matter, and it's really something that the firm embodies, and it is really part and parcel of our culture as well. So I absolutely agree with you on that, Pintao. And I think this question also a lot of students have posed to us before. If I do not have a specific benchmark, or I do not achieve a specific CGPA, or like if I'm not second upper class, can I still join the firm? And we would usually respond to them and say that, to be honest with you, attitude really beats aptitude. Skills is something that you can learn, but attitude is something that cannot change. So I really agree with you on that, on the importance of good attitude, and the your willingness, and whether you're hungry to learn and pick up things at work. Yeah, so Pintao, just progressing further into our session today, I think we also have a Q&A that came in. So this is really relating to the pandemic now. So most of us are really keen to know the impact of the pandemic on your work, because I think what has been put upon us this year really forced us to be, in a situation where we needed to find alternative ways to work overnight. So in terms of remote working, how is your team managing this? And as a team leader, how do you manage your team in a situation like this?
Yeah, I think due to COVID-19, everyone is under pressure. So due to the restriction imposed under CMCO, now has been further extended to 9 November. We are currently work from home and only go back to office on need basis. So during this period we experienced before in March, we have been contacting each other via phone calls, email, WhatsApp, and also virtual meeting like Teams and Zoom to follow up on the job status from time to time. Of course, it's always easier to work in the office because due to the nature of our work, we still need to make reference to file, especially myself. I'm not IT savvy, so I still rely heavily on the hard copy for review purposes. Nevertheless, I believe that we have to adapt to the current situations.
Right. I agree with that, Pinta. And also maybe at the end of the day, it really all goes down to, trust towards your team members, and, focus on the delivery as well as the end result. Right. So I think another question that came in, Pintao, relating to this is also something that all of us are really curious about. So with the onset of, the pandemic, how has IT tools actually helped or impacted the tax profession?
Okay, maybe I can answer this question from this angle. Will it be possible that tax profession be replaced because of technology transformation? To a certain extent, I would say yes. For instance, as I mentioned, tax compliance is something that repetitive and routine. I would say that it can be easily replaced by the machine due to the automation features. But having said so, the services that involve judgment and relationship with the clients can never be replaced by the machine. For instance, like tax audit and investigation, we still need to have a natural person to handle the matters physically. Yeah.
Pinta, I really love the part that you mentioned on relationships because that is something definitely that robots cannot replace. Yeah, so thank you for that. Thank you for that. So I think, Pinta, there are also some other questions that came in, I think relating to your experience. So this person has asked, what is the toughest challenge that you have experienced throughout your career?
Okay. I would think it's managing people and managing expectation. Especially we are in tax enforcement, we deal a lot with the tax authority. So it's not easy to manage both the client and also the officer expectations. So sometimes I also find that we are in between. So how to get them to narrow down the gap and finally reach the settlements? It is always a challenge for me. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for sharing that with us, Pintao. And I believe that in every job that we do, there will be a point in time where we face challenges, correct? So it is really up to us as individuals whether we want to shy away from those challenges or we just want to face it to deal with the challenges. And I think by dealing with them along the way, we also grow as an individual and as a professional as well. So thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. So Pintal, then another question that came along relating to, your work. So the question says, do you have flexible working hours?
Okay, officially we don't have, but it is acceptable in our team. Like for me, because I need to send my kids to school and daycare in the morning, so I can only reach office around 9, despite that the working hours should be 8:30 to 5:30. For me, it's effective working hours. Doesn't matter whether you are in office or work from home, so long as you are able to deliver.
Correct. And I really
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that. So, going back to, just now what I mentioned earlier also about trust and the focus on, the end work and also the delivery, that's really most important. Right. So then, Pintao, I think when we spoke about your career progression, and I mean, you shared with us on your 17 years of experience, maybe if you would want to share a little bit more on the time or like how long does it actually take for you to progress in, a career in tax?
Okay, let's say if you want to reach a manager level, I would say it's around 5 to 7 years. Like for me, I would think it's average. I'm not very fast, but I progress gradually and steadily. So for me, I think I took about 7 years to become a manager. Yeah.
Wow, actually 7 years is also very fast, Pintao. Very fast from progress from an entry level to a manager. So all right, so those who are keen to have a career in tax, now you actually have a goal to achieve. 7 years, Pintao mentioned. Okay, so I think in every session we will also want to hear a little bit more from your perspective in terms of juggling, because you also mentioned that you have kids, so managing work and also family, it's really not something that is easy for everyone. So
Yeah.
in terms of that, what really keeps you motivated every day?
Um, because I would say money is still the most important thing, but of course I have a very good team members that always give me endless support. Here, as I say, I like the working culture here in video because I can get support and then I also able to receive guidance along the line. So yeah, this actually keep me motivated.
Right. And I also love the fact that you mentioned, the people around you. I think because we do spend, quite a substantial amount of time, in the office. So having, a good and supportive environment really helps to, build and really keeps us motivated at work. Right. So, Pintao, would there be any advice that you want to give, students or graduates who are keen to embark on a career in tax?
Okay, sure. As I mentioned, you do need to have a relevant education background. You're still encouraged to join us. As a fresh grad, I think you should be hunger for knowledge, eager to learn. Don't be too calculative and selfish, because the more you do, the more you learn. Of course, if you want to embark in tax, tax agent license is a must.
Right. So
Yeah.
So Pintao's advice is you need to be hungry to learn, eager to gain more knowledge, and of course, do not be calculative. And the more you do, the more you learn. Totally and absolutely agree with that, Pintao. And
Yeah.
also, Pintao also mentioned that it is important for all of us who are keen to embark on a career in tax to obtain the tax agent license as well. So I think that is an important thing for all of us in the session today to note. All right, so Pinta, there is actually one additional question that came in. So it is on working hours. So this person has asked, do you face or do you work long hours as a tax professional?
Generally in tax, we don't really work long working hour, but it could be during the peak period from June to August. But this year, even further extended to October. Like today, some of us still rushing out to the filing for the December year end. However, I would say that since I've been working here for 7 years, it is definitely manageable because we do provide flexibility to our team members.
Right, right. That's really really good to know. So in other words, if I could just sort of sum up what you've shared earlier, there are periods that you will have peak, and of course there will be periods where things are slightly slower. Am I right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, because compliance, we have a lot of December year-end company. So the peak usually it will start around May to August, but this year further extended due to COVID-19 and also CMCO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Pintao. Pintao, I
Yeah.
just noticed that Abdullah Iskandar in our comments, he
Yeah.
asked a question. Pintao, should I still take up a professional qualification in tax, even though I intend to take a professional accounting qualification to practice as a tax agent?
I think you don't need to, because so long as you're able to obtain the tax agent license ultimately, you don't need to go through the professional papers, I believe. I'm not sure about this professional accounting qualification. That means it's a local degree. Am I right? Then after you practice for 5 years, then you can become either CITIM or MIA member. Yeah, because maybe I can just briefly elaborate how to become a tax agent license. If not mistaken, you need to have minimum 5 years relevant working experience. Then after that, you need to attend the relevant tax seminar. In total, you need to get 90 CPD in order to apply for the tax agent license.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that, Pintao and Iskandar. I hope that answers your question. We do have one question that just came in also, Pinta. I think we do have a couple more minutes before we end the session. So maybe we would just want to take a final question that just came
Yeah,
in.
sure. Yeah.
So this person has asked, in general, is the experience in small firms equal to the experience in mid and big firms?
Oh, okay. Maybe I can share a bit of my experience when I was working in KPMG and Deloitte versus I'm working in BDO. Because due to the specialization in Big Five, I mean like KPMG, like Deloitte, they like especially like KPMG, the specialization is according to the services. That means seems like BDO they have a compliance, they have advisory, they have TP, they have indirect tax, and also TIFA. But just that when you are in tax compliance team, you only handle tax compliance, but not more than that. But in smaller firm, like I wouldn't say BDO is a smaller firm, but here we able to access to different type of services, as I mentioned, because we do provide one-stop solutions for our clients. I hope that answer your questions.
So Pinta, whatever that you have shared, so meaning to say that over here you're able to sort of cover, a wider scope, and that has, added on to, your experience as well, compared to, being specially focused in a particular area.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Okay, so I do note that we are drawing close to 12:30. So I think we have covered quite a bit today, Pintao, on tax. So thank you so much for sharing your experience, and also, like the requirements and what sort of qualifications that, a person needs to take. I think before we end the session, as I mentioned earlier and shared earlier on another exciting part, which is on the quiz questions. So I think we do have some time. I think, Pinta, you may be able to pose 2 questions to the audience, and the one that answers provides the accurate answer and also the fastest to reply in the comment box will be able to get something from us. So Pinta, maybe you want to share with us your first question.
Okay, these 2 questions actually is very easy to answer if you follow me closely. Question number 1, what are the functions of a tax professional generally? Do I need to repeat?
Yes.
Question 1, yeah. What are the functions of a tax professional basically? Okay. Then I
So
go to question. Yeah, never mind.
So
Go
Pinta,
ahead.
maybe we'll tackle the first question first. So once they answer and we select the lucky winner, we will be posing the second question.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Let's see. So maybe I can repeat the question again. So Pintao has asked, what are the functions or roles of tax professionals generally? Please name one. So Pintao shared 3 during the session just now, so you can just name one. So we do have some responses coming in.
This is very easy.
Thank you everyone for your response. I think we do have some correct answers already. Okay, we will be announcing after Pinta shares the second question. Pinta, would you want to pose your second question now?
Yeah, sure. What type of license do you need in tax professions?
Oh, this is an
Yeah,
easy one.
yeah. What type of license that you need in tax professions?
So the question is, what type of license do you need in a tax profession?
Yeah.
Wow, all right. So we already got a correct answer here. Okay, so I will just quickly announce our lucky winners. So for the first question, Pinta asked us, what are the functions or roles of tax professionals generally? Just name one, because Pinta has shared 3 in her sharing session earlier. So I'll just wait for the... So Carissa answered correctly for our first question. Congratulations. And the second question is, what license do you need in a tax career? And it is actually also Carissa, but because Carissa has also received a prize for answering the first question correctly, so I think we will go to the second correct and fastest answer, which his Instagram name is Dacia. So congratulations, Carissa and Dacia. We will be reaching out to you after this session on further details to claim the prize. So all right, we have reached the end of the session. I think all of us really enjoyed, and we also gotten to know more about Pintao and also about the world of a tax professional, the functions of tax, the requirements, and also, even in video, the tax divisions that we have, in the firm. So thank you so much, Pinta, for that. And it was really our pleasure to have you on board with us here today. So thank you everyone who have tuned in to our session as well. We do have our upcoming sessions over the next 4 Fridays in November. So please continue to support us and tune in for our upcoming sessions in November. And everything will happen live on Video Malaysia's Instagram. So thank you everyone once again. Happy Friday and have a good weekend ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Darling. Thanks, everyone.
Spinta.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.